Wolfman broke in through an open window, and that's how he got in the next room there, yelling in my ear. You can probably still hear him in the background there, but at least he's out of the cold now, locked in the other room. So, welcome to my hell. uh, yeah, I had some good times though. It's not always hell. I mean, I'm sure I'll be in heaven again eventually. Quit talking about heaven and hell stuff. So back to the story of this book, or just my recollections of the book. Fix my glasses here. Okay, so the guy wakes up in 5,000 years, and I don't remember all of the different ones that he went through. Like he every time he wakes up, he finds out like, oh well, this didn't go right. And one of the first ones that he seemed like one of the first ones he wakes up, and it's this egalitarian world. It's like the planet's covered in forests. All the highways are like, it looks like there was some kind of nuclear war or something. So all of the highways are overgrown with trees and stuff, and um, he's just like, wow. He finds like this old interstate highway, and it's there's tree, like I said, it's grown over and everything, and then he comes across this village, and it's a very egalitarian society. Everyone's just kind of living off the land, and they're enjoying a fairly nice lifestyle. They have plenty of food. Like there's plenty of food for anybody, everybody. Sort of like a commune or communist system. Like in the 60s, a lot of people experimented with communes and alternative housing, like Buckminster Fuller, who made these geodesic domes that he wanted to mass produce for nobody needs to be homeless. This is the thing. And so they're all living in this sort of egalitarian, nature meets science kind of world. And they were using organic chemistry for everything. They were making plastics out of the trees. They were literally just using like the trees for without even killing them. Like they were milking the trees for sap, like the holy cow, like the sacred cow kind of thing. This is in India. They used to worship these sacred cows because the cow, if you don't kill it, you can just keep milking it, and you can keep milking it. And of course, I just had a sudden realization that I've been getting milked my whole life. every time I every time I come up with a good idea, I see it on TV and somebody else making a ton of money off of it. And usually I can trace down how these things get sort of you know heard through the grapevine. Bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy that you knew before. When you knew all those guys, I loved you more. Yeah, I remember I made this electronic carpenter's level and showed it to a whole bunch of people. Dad said he didn't have enough money to hire a patent attorney, and around here all the patent attorneys work for the chemical companies. They wouldn't know anything about electronics or how to get a patent on it. But lots of adults seen it, and next thing I know, I'm I'm married, sitting at home watching TV, and I see this on the Sears Trade Show. This was a corporation that used to be pretty big in America. I think they went defunct, out of business, like Kodak. Lost history. These are anomalies. This is the anomaly archives here. Kodak, well, why did they go out of business? Because they suppressed this inventor guy that was trying to, hey, you could make a ton of money off of this, just buy my invention, and they wouldn't, nobody even, nobody even called back. This is how they do. Now, when I say they, I'm talking about whoever is producing all of the things that we have, our products and services, TVs, computers, machines, war machines, automobiles, bikes, things like that. They just sort of appear. I didn't build that bike. I don't have a workshop or a factory to build bikes. The bike was given to me, or I have to go buy it. So I got to work really hard for a long time, save up the money, and now I can buy a bicycle. It's not just given to me. But you try to give your truth to somebody, and they're, oh, you're just crazy, You're just seeing shapes in the clouds. Everybody wants to find patterns. Well, okay, but just because I found a pattern doesn't mean the pattern doesn't exist, right? Oh, you're just seeing patterns. Okay, and your point is, damn skeptic society people are like, again, I don't want to, I hope my brother doesn't just already quit watching my channel because, he was one of the ones that would say these kind of hurtful things. It's sort of hurtful, and you don't believe your own brother because you just won't take his word at it. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Uh, but again, that's not a position I want to be in because, like, who would want to be on a jury and then find out later on that person really was innocent and you convicted an innocent man? No, that's just too much. That's not the kind of responsibility I would like to have. Or you invent something and then they just use it to kill people or to enslave them. No, I wouldn't want to be responsible for inventing that. But like, what if somebody invented humans and created us? Well, I wouldn't want to be that God because most humans are suffering, some more than others, but you can't be happy all the time. Almost nobody. I don't know. I think I know anybody that can be happy all the time. But so, but I have compassion for small animals, so I just don't know what to do with this little crybaby kitty. He loves affection, so anybody out there needs a little wolfy-looking cat, I might just have to get him taken to the shelter too. I need to get a PETA volunteer from the. Try to do that in a minute. Let's finish this video about the Man Who Awoke. It was a science fiction story on paperback from the 60s, I think, and he wakes up and he finds this society, that they're living in this utopia. Okay, another fantasy that a utopia can be created. Uh, I think it would have to just spontaneously evolve on its own without any interference, without any death threats, or without any being locked up and tortured, and drugged and evaluated and all that. Just let it evolve spontaneously is be the best way to go on some things. Maybe even the computers that are designing themselves and building themselves now. So, but so the scientist or wealthy guy that's there just he wants to see the future. So he's This is his oracle that he's built his time machine to go into the future by just sleeping through. So he just sort of takes himself out of society and he's buried. People come and go, they bulldoze the house and all this, but nobody ever really looks for the tomb under the ground there. So they finally, you know, he finally awakens without, being disturbed, and he finds this egalitarian society and old civilization gone. And it's still humans, relatively speaking. Modern humans, they may have changed a little bit in their appearance, but for the most part, they still look human and everything. But their society, they have this internet connection. This is like a prediction of the internet to come, because uh, this network, global network, didn't really exist back when I read this story. So it was pre-internet days. All we had was AM radio and television, which was all analog. And so he finds they have this network. They're all communicating through their little consoles and stuff. And but he notices that that there's really, even though there's this sort of consensus, this scientific consensus, they've stagnated. They like, this is how you do it. This is the formula. You got to do it this way. Everybody's kind of came to a consensus with their shared information, but they're all just sort of going down this one path. There's like all these other pathways of free thought that could be gone down. All these other roads and they're not taken. Sort of the gypsy road, or the high road, or the low road, or there's just infinite number of ways that you could go. So you could think of it like, okay, let's just say that, comparison. They say, you've heard the saying, with God all things are possible. Well, with science, only one thing is possible. Whatever the consensus says, the peer review system, and whoever owns the peer review, and or whoever that one preacher up there that's like, this is how we've always done it, and I can't let the congregation learn about this as demonic or whatever. No, there's no such thing as, like they came, the conquistadors, they came over here, they burned all the books. As those are Nazis. That's what I call Nazis. Because they want to control, this is the one true religion, this is the one true Aryan race or whatever, this is the one true African race or whoever, whoever's that one cult figure, cult of personality, like a former politician that we all know, then that's what it's going to be. There's no deviation is not allowed. If you don't agree to the consensus, that's basically mob rules. That's ruled by majority, and whether you like it or not. And you don't have any freedom to go, have your own little scientific investigation. You're not free to just go learn the truth for yourself, or learn your own truth, I should say. There probably is no one ultimate truth that anybody of us would ever have access to. So, he realizes that the system is broken. He's like, yeah, well, from an outsider perspective, y'all don't have any freedom at all. You think that you're free and you're living off the land and all this, but you don't really have any freedom, because you're subject to the chief or whatever, the chief guy, or you're subject to the rule of this communist system. So that's like fascism versus communism, or you could say capitalism, capitalism versus social democracy, or you could say what was the other one I was trying to think of, or like you know independent science versus peer review science. Well, peer review, okay, well, what if everyone in that peer group is stuck on this train of thought from way, way back, because they're controlled by something else, or like I don't know where I'm going with that, but so that might not be they're going down the wrong path, and then anyone that tries to go against that system is going to get bullied and shamed and just get, get kicked out of the system, and whatever they discovered, even though it could have been really useful to this whole other group, they don't have access to it because that guy's dead now or whatever, or kicked out of the, he's just deleted his, well, and we got to just delete his whole work history and everything. And so that's how news and not news and information, but I mean that's how like good scientific evidence gets lost, and so the bad theory gets continued on. Like let's say, I mean my example would be like Newtonian style physics or like chaos stuff. Well, for example, okay, just assume I'm talking to the computer and that no one else, there's no humans left on Earth. I'm just talking to you, the computer. Okay, let's say you're a digital computer, and I'm trying to explain uh, a base 3 number system, or a base 7. If I was to try to explain a base 7 number system, well, you're on a base 2 system. See, you got ones and you got zeros. It's either right or it's wrong. And this is how so many scientists are out there. They're like, oh well, if 9 out of 10 oil company hired scientists say that free energy is not possible, then free energy just simply isn't possible. There is no, oh well, it could be 98% or it could be 99%, but it can't be over 100% because that makes no sense. Over unity, yeah. There's no. It's either one or it's zero. It can't be. You know. Oh, you can have this gradation between there, but there's only 360 degrees between 1 and 0 arc. So I'm always thinking about this old movie by Steven Spielberg with the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So these Nazis were looking for this ancient treasure or something. Kind of reminds me of the story of how these Nazis invaded dude's hotel room. Well, they didn't invade it because they owned the hotel, I'm sure. And so when Nikola Tesla died, they came and I guess they took some sort of treasure chest. Why? Why? Why did they have to hide it? And so my whole life growing up studying electricity, I was never even allowed to learn about this man who literally invented the entire 20th century. He invented AM radio, FM radio. He invented the coax cable, that your cable vision, that my my data and information is coming through on this cable. He invented that. That was a transmission line for inductive power transfer to trolley cars. This is the third rail on electric trolley cars. Used to be in all the cities, or all the major cities like San Francisco and New York and stuff. New Orleans had electric trolley cars too. I tried to tell this to this young man I met recently, and he just lost his shit. He was like, don't try to tell me everything used to be. We're just now discovering electric vehicles and electric trains. And, dude, you've been blinded, just like we've been lied to, not blinded. I mean, obviously my eyes still work. I can still see. It's just it was hidden from us, and but whose purpose does it serve to hide technology and suppress human evolution, human advancement? And what's controlling human evolution and advancement? Well, if you go into studying animals, monkeys and things like that, really the driving force behind evolution is the female. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, the egg came first, but the mother came before the egg. So one day, it's this little dinosaur running around. She gets pregnant. Something happens, or you know, maybe there's some divine intervention, and then mutation or whatever. But and then the egg hatches, and now you've got the chicken. It's not a dinosaur anymore. So the egg came first, and then the chicken was born. The first chicken ever was born. Just like Adam was the first man born on earth. But he didn't come before the egg. He's not the egg creator. Uh, Now, I'm not saying he couldn't go and create an egg and leave it on some, create his own sort of egg. Well, when this one's born, he's going to be really awesome. And then, put that on some alien planet. So, yeah, which came first, the man or his egghead father and mother that bore him and raised him? Well, yeah, that's science fiction story. So they realize, hey, this is there's all this. We can't have so many anomalies. There's more anomalies now than there is the facts, the established facts that they have formed from the collective's established facts. So it's not. They realize it's not really democratic. It's more of a mob rules, because any outsider's information doesn't get looked at. So someone, hey, I just discovered that we could do this. We could use inorganic chemistry. We could use just dead metals and rare earths or crystals or whatever, and we could build this, and we could make new machines that are based on inorganic chemistry. And they're like, oh, no, 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 that's heresy. That's heresy. If it doesn't come from the trees, the holy trees, or the holy cow, then it's evil. It's evil. That's evilness. Kill him, kill him. He's gone. He's out of there. This one person that was trying to show them the light that, hey, there's all these other routes that you could take, and it would still, you could still get positive results, and it might still work. It's just science. It's not magic. And but they would not listen to him. So then he's like, well, he did what he could, and then I think they finally realized, and they sort of thanked him, and now, hey, well, we're going to try to correct this and find some way to preserve these other alternative facts, I guess you should say. And they thanked him and everything, and then they built him a new crypt and everything, and they helped him get his cryo machine. He was the only one who knew how to do it, so they had to help him build new cryo equipment, all this. He goes back in the tomb, okay? then he wakes up another 5,000 years, and now, what he started, you know, computer with gold plated everything so it will never break down. This was actually a mechanical computer, so this book might have been really old, but or they didn't really have electronic technology, so it was all just mechanical. But it was this huge, the size of a giant office building or something, and gold contacts on the relays and all this. But the computer literally was the slave master. All the humans were working and going and digging gold just to bring it to the computer to replate anything that got damaged, and constantly repairing relays and doing all this hard mechanical bullshit work, like working on a gas guzzler car. They're always breaking down, and it's just there's always some little. And then you get in there and you're like, why on earth? Like, what engineer in their right mind would engineer something this crappy? Like, eliminate this, eliminate this. This is like Elon Musk's philosophy. Um, if you don't, if you can simplify it and eliminate it, keep it simple. Keep it stupid. Keep it simple. Stupid. KISS. Kids in Satan's Service. That was what I thought it stood for. Because I was looking around, I was a little kid at that school, and I thought, man, these men in black and these women in black, they're working for evil. They're working for a force of evil. So I don't remember how exactly he defeated the computer. It was probably just by being irrational and doing random things outside of this ones and zeros. He put a three in there, and the computer just went, three? What is this? We can't have a third dimension. It's not possible. Boom, everything breaks down. The machine comes to a halt. And then the people wake up and they're like, oh, we were hypnotized this whole time. And now they're like, so, okay, now we're going to start doing real science. And he's like, okay, well, I'm glad I could help. And they build him a new crypt, and he goes back in there and he gets frozen again, and he goes to go off and see what else happens in the future. A never ending story, never ending journey. It's called The Man Who Awoke. I'm not sure if I even still have that particular book, but I've got most of my favorite, quite a collection of classic sci-fi from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Paperback books though, so they're gonna vanish pretty soon because, like, if my roof finally caves in, I die alone here like this. Uh, no one's gonna know. Like, I thought that would be a good project. Was what was leading me to this was one of my dreams. Again, this is that third option. Not a memory of what really happened. Not a memory of a vision that I had while sleeping, which you would call a dream. These were daydreams that I had, goals, hopes, ambitions, that I would get some funding to preserve all these sort of rare manuscripts. I sound like some kind of old priest or something. No, these are just science fiction paperback books that were not really mass produced. They're not in every public library. There's probably very few of these left. Just antique stores here and there. I used to enjoy collecting the antique books from antique stores and wherever I could find them, garage sales and everything else. So, but I would like to get them digitized. The Gutenberg project maybe or something, and get them uploaded to some internet database where everybody in the world could access them. That would be kind of cool. Especially the art, the cover art on some of these is just really amazing. Just I would like to have just an art gallery with nothing but these science fiction covers on there. So, anyways, I'm getting tired. I guess I'll try to take a nap or yeah, I'll see about Monkey Girl. She's doing okay. Guess I'll give her a little while longer. Maybe try to give her some more water. Thanks for listening.